and hope everyone's doing well, considering everything going on in the world today. So I'm glad that you're able to take a few minutes out of your morning and sit in on our webinar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a brief slide deck. I'm not going to put you through a PowerPoint deck, so don't worry about that. But I do want to give you an overview. I'm going to show you a little bit of the software, give you some context, and then talk about some special offers and pricing that we have for you. So let me show my screen and pull up the PowerPoint deck. And can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So I am Mike Boehner. I'm the Global Sales Manager with Solver, and we want to talk to you about the Solver solution, which the TM Group is one of our top partners, one of our trusted partners. I can't say enough good things about them. They do great work with our product. Some of our partners we don't necessarily trust to deliver our product very well, but TM Group is not in that boat. So we love these guys and definitely appreciate them inviting us in to talk to you all about the solution. It is a corporate performance management solution. You'll see that term thrown around a lot. I know that the audience today is BC and you're really looking at reporting. Totally get that. And the good thing about our solution is you don't have to bite it off all at once. A lot of our customers start with reporting because that's what they need, whether it's financial reporting, operational reporting, sales reporting, whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people want to start there. And then they'll graduate into planning and forecasting, which the product does. They will also move into multiple data sources, which the product allows you to do. I know a lot of people sometimes get scared away. They're like, oh, we don't need all of that. We just need reporting, for example. Great, you can do that. It doesn't have to be a one size fits all. It's not a one size fits all. You can do based on what you need. So what I'm going to talk about a little bit is just some of the typical business issues that we see throughout the industry. And this really cuts across all sizes, all industries, all platforms. It doesn't matter. Again, I know that you guys are BC, but we see this really across the board. Talk a little bit about the product, and then, like I said, I'm going to show you about 10 or 15 minutes of reporting, because again, I think that's the key for most people in the audience today. If we were doing a deeper dive or a longer dive, I probably would show you planning and forecasting, but that's something that you can always get with your TM Group representative, and they can show you if you're more interested in seeing some of that, or even like I said, the multiple data sources. But at least for today, we're just going to talk or show you a little bit about reporting. And then finally, I'll close out with how do I buy? That's something that I know I sit on a lot of webinars. I know you all do. It's very common. The one thing that I'm always interested in when I'm looking at a webinar, especially for software or really any product when you think about it, is you're seldom given an idea of what's it cost. It's like, okay, that was great. I love what you showed me, but what's it cost? Is it something I can afford? Is it something I should even pursue? What is it? So we take a little bit different approach, and in conjunction with the TM Group, we put together a few offers specifically for their customers, which are you all, in this case around BC. So I'll be sharing some of that pricing. Yes, it's at a high level because each of you are different, your situation's different, your wants and needs are different. So that's where working with your TM Group representative will enable you to get pricing that best fits you in your configuration. But at least this will give you some idea of what something like this costs. So a little bit different approach than you might be used to, but we think it works pretty well. So again, just some of the typical business issues that we see, and my guess is you're going to recognize some of these. But these are all resolved by the solution provided by TM Group and powered by Solver, which is our Solver software. So for most people, it's their current reporting tool is just no longer adequate to meet the needs of the company. It's either maybe MR, FRX, if you're in the Microsoft world, great products back in their day, nearing the end of their useful life, support's dropped, it's just time to move on to something else. Or people who are relying mainly on Excel, which great tool, we use it. In fact, as you'll see when I show you some of the solution, the user experience is Excel, because most people know it, most people are comfortable with it. It shortens the time to learn the software and use the software. So all the great things that you like about Excel, you still get with our product, but so much more. But again, just using Excel isn't enough for most people because of the security issues, the no one version of the truth, all the things that you're used to seeing and dealing with, massive spreadsheets, juggling spreadsheets, so on and so forth. Another one, this has really been going on now for, I'm going to say, a couple of years, but just in the last few months, and we all are in the same situation, with what's happened with the economy, with businesses, temporarily shut down or furloughs, everybody working from home. A lot of businesses have found themselves really kind of stuck behind the 8-ball in terms of being able to get data, get reports out to their team members or out to their management because they have systems, on site that people didn't have access to. So, trying to get VPNs up and running for everybody, or, having issues with connectivity for everybody. So really nowadays, and I think it's going to be the new normal coming out of this, 24/7 access to reports from anywhere and any platform is going to be critical. And with our solution, you can do it because we are a cloud-based solution. We also have an on-premise version for those who are not yet ready to go to cloud. But again, I think that what's going on in the world today is going to force more companies to move more towards the cloud, maybe not all the way, but again, I think we're well positioned to be able to meet your needs either way. The other thing that's really critical too across all businesses is giving the end users, again, whether it's your accounting team, your budget team, your operations folks, your executives, doesn't matter, but one single interface for the real-time self-service reporting and having the ability to filter and drill down for the ad hoc analysis. In this case, with the Solver solution, you can drill right back into your subledgers. You can pull data into the Solver data warehouse, report on it that way, or you can do it right into the tables in BC. So flexibility, ease of use, what works best for you. Again, it makes it one place for people to go for that data and for the analysis that they need to do. Another big pain point for a lot of people is lacking the ability to combine data from data sources. If you have BC as your ERP and you have another system that you use, let's say for your sales team or for your operations, maybe you're in manufacturing or distribution and you have multiple systems that you're using, what most people have to do is pull data from one, put it in Excel, pull data from another, put it in Excel, and then combine the Excel workbooks, and you have these massive workbooks. With the Solver solution, you don't have to do that because we can pull that data in from the various data sources into one central place and report on it from that, or combine reporting from there. If you have your own internal data warehouse, which I know some people do, not a problem, we can hook to that as well. Again, those of you on this call might not be ready for all that yet, but it's there. It's part of the solution. So, you build and grow into it as you need to. And then finally, this is, again, it's been going on as for most businesses, things are moving quickly, and the ability to do true planning other than just their annual budget, and true forecasting, including rolling forecasts and things like that, and the what if analysis and scenario planning has become more and more crucial. And now when the pandemic hit and the economy tanked, it's become, mission or job number one for most people. It's like all of our assumptions that we made at the end of the year, or maybe the start of the year, are out the window now. So what does that do to our revenue projections, our expense projections? How do we do this? A lot of people are forced to rely on Excel to do that. With the Solver solution, you can use the planning tool to be able to do that for you. So again, a lot of flexibility, a lot of features, a lot of functionality, but you don't have to have all of it. You can start with what you need. So just some additional things to think about as you head into seeing some of the solution here is, the trends in the 2020s, data is the new gold. Again, most people are doing it manually. One department may have a spreadsheet, another department may have a spreadsheet. They don't necessarily match which one's correct. But being able to make smart decisions quickly based on accurate data is more important than ever. So being able to adapt quickly, like again, throughout this pandemic that we're going through and the economic impact it's having, being able to change direction or to adapt quickly is important, and having the data to be able to do that is important. Something that a lot of people have kicked around for some years now. Some companies have done a better job than others. Some industries have done a better job than others, but really, the KPI, the data visualization, you're seeing that start to come more to the forefront. Since our solution is Microsoft centric, our data visualization tool is Power BI, but we also work with Tableau and some of the others as well. But we are really a Microsoft shop, so being able to visualize your data rather than just look at it in a report is becoming more important for a lot of people. And again, things like dashboards for KPIs. Some people want to see the data like that. Some people still want to see the report. Having the ability to do it either way, we think is very, very important. So in terms of just, I've talked about this a little bit, but it really kind of gives you a visual explanation of what I'm talking about, where, at the top there, you see analysis paralysis. You've got data coming out from multiple systems. It's not talking to each other. You're trying to look at this report, that report, can't make sense of it all. With a solution like ours, you see us there at the center with Power BI sitting on top, but all your data sources below it. Obviously, in your case, it's BC as your ERP, but it could be any data source. So again, it's one place to go and look for that data to be able to make your business decisions with. And then just complete insight. I've talked about that some, but you see some of the apps on the right side in the blue there, process automation, KPIs, dashboards, reporting, budgeting, the things that I talked about, but it really does cut across an organization. Oftentimes when we're talking to an audience such as this one, it's usually the accounting team or sometimes the budget team, depending on how a company is structured. But it really does move beyond that if you want it to. It can pull in operations, manufacturing, distribution, sales, marketing, whatever it might be. But some companies are like, hey, we just want a good, affordable reporting tool to do our financial statements. Great, you can do that with us as well. We have others who say, we want that, but we also want to be able to report across the organization. Great, we can do that too. So again, the architecture is laid out where the central data repository really is the center engine. So all the data sources feeding into it, even if it's only one data source, and then you can do your planning, reporting, dashboarding off of that. Okay. And like I said, and this I believe is my last slide before I show you some software. So I know you're thinking, okay, great, enough with the slides, Mike. But so we are really, really, really strongly positioned with Microsoft. Our technology is built on Microsoft, so we have Azure on the back end. We have SQL Server for the databases as well. We have Excel, like I said, is our design experience. Power BI is our data visualization tool. We have pre-built integrations to the Dynamics products. So in your case, BC, we have a pre-built integration for that. And like I said, we have also what's called a hybrid connector, which does allow you to hit directly at your database, the tables in your database in BC. So again, multiple ways to get at your data and report on your data, all built on the Microsoft technology. Again, we're a cloud-based solution, but we also do offer an on-premise version for those who are not yet ready to move to the cloud. So just wanted to reiterate that, and we do cut across industry. So our product is deployed in virtually any industry you can think about. We do specialize in various industries, but they're typically aligned with the ones that Microsoft does, and I know TM Group's aligned with there as well, but we do cut across any industry. Okay, so now a solver demonstration. Are there any questions while I jump out of PowerPoint and move over into my browser to do the demo? Okay, make sure I haven't been signed out for inactivity. And I promise, just looking at the clock, we're about 15 minutes in, and We are not going to go the full hour unless you all have a bunch of questions or conversation. The reason being because I designed it purposely not to do that. I've sat in enough webinars like you all have, and usually about 45 minutes in, people start losing steam or start bailing. So I'm going to show you about 10, 15 minutes of software, and then we'll talk about the offer available to you all through the TM group, and then open it up for questions and let you get back to your morning. But what I've done here is I've launched Google Chrome. Any browser will work, doesn't make a difference. You can also access it on an iPad or laptop, your cell phone, doesn't matter. Wherever you have a browser, you can access the application. So I've logged in as a power user. I mean, typically you're not going to do that, but you all have seen enough software demos to know that usually the demo person is going to be logged in with the most security, because that way it makes it easiest for us. But from a reporting aspect of the program, and again, I could have logged in through any browser, but typically I'm going to come into what's called the archive. And this is where all my reports reside. And they can be categorized, however you want to categorize them. And I'll show you a little bit of that in a second. But most of your users are going to live in here, and it's designed to look like a inbox, like your email inbox. So these are all reports that have been shared with me. And I can click on any of the reports. I can look at them. I can print them. I can do analysis. I can dump them to Excel, whatever it may be. So let me just pull up one to show you here. Just grabbed a random one. And that's what the report would look like. So this is a simple cash flow statement, nothing magical about it, but it's pulling data from the database. So again, I could download it if I want to, open it in Excel to do additional analysis if I want to. So I could add more columns. I could add different type of analytical data that I want to put in there, so it gives me flexibility to do whatever I need to do. These will show up, and again, this is not a training session, so it's more of a demo overview, but these show up in an inbox as bold like this one if I haven't read it yet, and gray like these others if I have. So again, it's a quick way for your users to view the reports, whether it's daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever frequency you want to share with them. They can go in here and look directly at the report. You can also do a reports together. So I wanted to look at sales by customer and sales by product. So I just opened both of them at the same time, and it shows in a double pane window here for you to be able to view. So, all right. And again, I could still download to Excel if I wanted to. Okay. And then what we've done as well is we have a concept called playlist. And what a playlist is again, it makes an easy way for you to group reports that you want to see all the time together. Some people call it a package. Some people just call it a grouping. We call it playlist because the thinking being like you would see in Pandora or YouTube or something like that, where you have all your favorites that you want to see and you have them grouped together. It's your choice how you want to group them. You can do it any way you want to do it. It could be, a monthly presentation like this, budget, board, doesn't make a difference. Again, however you want to do it or however your user wants to do it, they can set that up. The benefit of it is you now have, if you have 7 or 8 reports that you typically use each month, for example, instead of having to open 7 or 8 reports, they're going to appear in a package for you. So let's just pull up this one, and you see which reports are included in this playlist, and I'm just going to show the playlist. And what they do is all your reports appear at the bottom here where you can toggle between them. So again, this is just a strategic report, but you can go across all of your reports this way. So they're all packaged together. So again, you don't have to open 7 or 8 different spreadsheets and have those tabs open. You're still in the Solver product looking at all of your reports. The other good thing too about the Solver product is all of the, you've seen the various reports as I went across them, is all of the formatting that you have in Excel, you can use in the Solver product as well. So you see, the different colors, the different indicators, you can do all of that. Anything you can do in Excel, you can do to your reports in our product. So the good thing is, we talked about this earlier, giving users the ability to drill into the data, you can do right from the product as well. So what we like to say about this, this whole concept of playlist is, if you're doing a presentation for your executives, for example, for most people, what that requires today is you have to go in, run your reports, copy paste them into maybe a Word document, then maybe into a PDF or maybe into PowerPoint, and then you do your presentation. And sure enough, you're sitting in the conference room or on a go-to meeting like this, and someone asks, okay, I see the number there, 1.6 million or 1.8 million, whatever it might be. What's the detail behind that? And then you have to say, oh, okay, well, let me get that for you and I'll get back to you, or let me get that after the meeting, I'll send that over to you. With our solution, you can actually drill back from these playlists into the transaction level, so you can see what makes that number up. So you don't have to say, hey, I'll get back to you, or I'll get it to you after this meeting. You can answer the question right there on the fly. So it's one of the good things about it, is that ability to drill back right from here. So if you're looking at the report, you're thinking, okay, that doesn't look like something you can drill back on, but you can. So again, flexibility, ease of use, all the information in one spot makes it easy to make your decisions and present. Okay. And again, it can be any, we're focused on reporting mainly, but same thing with budgeting. I talked about the tool can be used for budgeting, so you could do a full budget presentation as well, where you have your balance sheet budget, P&L budget, so all your variances, so the things that you're used to doing in Excel, you can do right in here, and it makes it much easier, much cleaner to use. And then I talked a little bit about being able to categorize your reports. So if you are a power user, which not knowing for sure who's in the audience, my guess is there's some people who would be in the power user category, others who would be just the end users viewing reports. But if you're in the power user category, you could come in here, and this is where you would manage all of your reports. So if I went down through this, there are literally hundreds of reports in here. And one of the good things about our product, from an ease of use and ease of deployment, is when the TM group does your implementation, they also have some of these pre-built templates and pre-built reports. All of these are available to anybody, but they have some that they've built as well that they can make available to you. So for most people, when they go to implement, it's maybe some tweaks, some changes, cosmetic things like that. You might have additional reports that you want built. Your choice is really, have TM Group build it, which I would recommend, or build it yourself, which you certainly can do, and you can be trained to do that. They'll train you how to do that. But I always like to say, if I'm buying something, I don't necessarily want to be an expert in what I'm buying. I just want to be able to use it, know that it works, and trust it. That's enough for me. But I know some people are like, okay, I want to know how to do it. I want to know everything about it. Either way you want to do it, that's totally up to you. It's really the individual preference or your company's preference, and the TM Group certainly will help you, whichever way you choose to go. But the reason I brought that up is because, again, we have all of these pre-built reports that are available. But if you're in the application as a power user and you have access to all of your reports, you can do different categorizations, like you see over here, monthly reporting, consolidated reporting, if you happen to be multi-entity. Any categories you can think of, you can put together. You can share those categories out with other users. So, your monthly financial reports is a simple one, but you can share that group out to your users. So if there's a certain department that has certain reports that you want to share it with them, you can do that. You can group them together to share it across the whole organization. However you want to do it, the flexibility is there for you to use in whatever way you want to. Okay. So an easy thing to do, and this is one of the last things I'll show, because again, didn't really design this to be a full demo, definitely not a training session, but just giving you an overview of what the product can do and how easy it is to use. Let's say I did want to go in here. I'm a power user now, I'm not an end user, so keep in mind security is in play. But I want to go in and just make a simple edit to this report. Let's say I don't like the title of it for whatever reason, or I don't like the color of it for whatever reason. I can simply go in and hit edit. And now it's going to open in our report designer, which is in Excel. And that's the reason I'm showing this to you, is because we are in the report designer, which now is in Excel. And you'll see why I chose this report, because look at that. It has a customer's logo on that. I don't want that customer logo there. Who put that in there? Who put that into my data, into my demo data? So what I can do is I can just go in here, delete that just like I would in Excel. All Excel functionality here, if you notice. And the reason I know I'm in solver reporting is the ribbon up here that says it. It has our old label BI360, but that tells me that I'm in our report designer. And you can see over here our report designer functions and features. This is drag and drop, so if you did choose to build your own reports, you simply do just drag and drop your fields over. So, and we labeled the fields to be business friendly, so you don't have to know field names from the ERP database. We translate those coming over, so account is account, account description's account description. So again, you don't have to be a tech wizard to be able to figure out how to build reports. Again, the recommendation would be let TM Group do it for you, but we know some people want to do it on their own. So it's drag and drop to be able to build the reports. It's going to expose to you whatever subledgers you're using in BC. So, you know, probably AR, AP, could be any of them. Whatever you're using would be exposed in the software. But again, like I said, you can use all of the Excel functionality that you're used to using, including your formulas. It stores over into our product, so nothing special you have to do. But if I just wanted to put in here, okay, and let's make that highlighted so I don't forget it. And that's the only change I wanted to make. I simply hit save. And it's telling me that the report draft successfully uploaded. So it's uploaded from here back into the cloud, back into my demo. Now if I come here, because I made a change, I have to run it. And it's going to come back with the change that I just made. So, and there is that change that I just made. It is that easy and that simple to edit, make changes to reports. So simple, doesn't require a lot of expertise to do it. But again, if you're going to build really complex reports, my advice would be to rely on the TM group, but you know, obviously you can also learn to do it as well. And then if that was the way I wanted it, I could simply publish, and then it's available to everyone. Or I could publish to a group of people or a group of users or a department, or however I want to do it. Doesn't make any difference. I'm just going to go ahead and close out of that and come back to the home. And that is a quick, short overview of reporting in the software. Any questions around that before I move on to the final stage of our webinar, which is really what does it look like? What does pricing look like? What are the offers look like? So any questions from the audience? Okay. One more point I do want to make before I close out of the software is if you're looking at the screen, you'll see publisher here on the left. That does come into play with people who use it for reporting a lot of times, because what that does is it allows you to automatically generate reports to be run and distributed at a certain time. So let's say you want daily reports that go out to people before they get to their office in the morning, before they log in. So you would set up a job that creates, runs those reports, distributes it to them sometime overnight or sometime first thing in the morning. So again, just another feature that works with reporting that we see a lot of people use. So now I'm going to jump out of the software and back into my slide deck. All right, so you've seen the solution, at least part of it, a small part of it, but the key part for people who are interested in reporting only. I gave you the quick, 15-minute, I think I was in there, overview on how the product works, ease, flexibility, different ways you can use it, including the drill back, things like that. So what does it look like in terms of, if I want to purchase it? So what we're doing with TM Group is we're putting together tiered pricing based on their customer profiles. So we know that, some people running BC are small organizations, a couple of users, maybe a handful of users, reporting only, that's all they're going to do, that's all they want to do. They want to get away from MR, maybe they're still way back on FRX or something like that, or competing product that just isn't meeting their needs. Ready to take the step forward. They don't want to bite off the full chunk of the apple yet, but they want to ease into it, and then maybe down the road they'll move to planning, forecasting. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just stay with reporting. Perfectly acceptable, however you want to do it. So we're creating a tier for that user or for that customer. Then the as common are the people who we say are in the middle, who they have more users, still not, big group of users, but they have more. They likely are using the planning forecasting functionality as well. And some of those may even have, multi-currency or multi-company. That's that middle group. So there's going to be a tier for them as well. And then the top end are the, the real big companies who hundreds of users, definitely using planning forecasting, definitely, multi-company, multi-currency. So really the three tiers, and most people will fit into one of those. The good thing about the TM group is they are not force-fitting anyone. So maybe you're on the edge of two tiers, they're going to work with you on what works best for you. And again, what you start with doesn't have to be what you finish with. I know a lot of people, when you're, especially software, it's like, oh, we need to buy this, this, and this, and this. No, you really don't. Buy what you need, and then as you need more, add on. That's, to me, the best way to do it. But at that base level, you can get started with the reporting for as little as $195 a month. And that's the Cloud Starter, which I know went out in the webinar invite. And that really does enable you to get started with a cloud solution, reporting, all the things I just showed you from the reporting standpoint, you can do with that Cloud Starter. And again, it's for as little as $195 a month. It could be more depending on, like I said, if you rely on the TM group to do, some of the work for you. I know they're going to put together packages of services that go in with this offer. So, get with your TM group representative to see what works best for you and what offer might be best for you in terms of features, functionality, number of users, things like that, and deployment. And like I said, you can add features as you go and expand usage of the product. For example, you could add the planning and forecasting for as little as $209 a month. I mean, that's, if I had shown you that functionality, which again, this was more designed for reporting, but you'd be like, wow, I get all that just for $209 a month. So again, very, very affordable. Obviously, in that upper tier where there's hundreds of users, it's going to be more expensive. But in the lower tier, middle tier, I mean, it's very, very affordable. One of the things that we just rolled out this year, and you heard me mention it a few times in the lead up to the demo and then the demo piece I did, which is the concept of reporting live to all the subledgers in your BC on-premise database directly from the cloud. We call it a hybrid connector. That means nothing to you in the audience, but for us in the TM group, it gives you another way to connect to the BC data. Typically how it's done is you connect through one of our connectors. Again, they're pre-built to BC, but a nightly job runs, or maybe it runs a couple of times during the day, pulls the data over into our data warehouse, then you report on it. Some people want to report immediately on the data in BC. They don't want to have to wait until that job runs overnight or runs during the day. They want to do it now. So we built a connector that we call the hybrid connector that's available for BC on-prem that enables you to do that. And it hits all the subledgers as well. So you could do it either way. You could do it that way, or you can do it pulling data into the data warehouse. You could do it both ways. So again, it's all about flexibility and ease of use and what works best for you. The other thing too with the solution is you might want to consider a managed services approach. You know, discuss that with your TM group representative. That's something that we as Solver are really working with our partners on. And what that means is, again, you heard me say it a couple of times, but most people don't want to be an expert in report writing. They don't want to be a software expert. They just want to buy it, have it work for them. They need something. They're paying a set fee a month or maybe annually. It's taking care of them for them. I mean, if you think of yourself as a consumer, we do it all the time with things like service contracts for our AC and furnaces, service contracts for a pool if you have one. You do it with your car. You know, we don't try to be experts in everything. We pay people to take care of that for us. Same thing with software. It really hasn't been that way in our industry, but it's becoming more and more as what I can call the consumerization of business takes hold, where people want to purchase for their business like they would as a consumer. So we as an industry have had to change and adapt to that. And things like managed services is one way to do that. Again, if it were me and I knew that I was just paying one price a month and everything's taken care of, I would love that. Or even if it's annual, I wouldn't care, but I don't have to worry about it. So again, you don't have to do it that way. You can do the traditional implementation like you're used to, like you probably did with BC. Again, whatever works for you. It's just we as a software vendor and in conjunction with our partner TM group have to provide new ways to service you because you're going to demand it of us. So it's just something to think about. And then finally, again, I talked about it a little bit in the opening, but TM Group does such a great job with our product. I mean, just top-notch consultants. Really, really can't say enough good things about them. I mean, they will have you up and running in no time. And like I said, they will work with you on a price structure that fits you, that gives you everything I just showed you, all the features and benefits of, you know, one of the market-leading CPM solutions at a price you can afford and that works for you in terms of, you know, how quickly you want to move forward, how quickly you want to adopt. So, you know, they will definitely take care of you. And then we're always behind them to support them. So, you know, anything they need from us, we're there for them. So again, just get with them, talk to them about which tier you might fit into in terms of the pricing. They'll put together a full pricing profile for you. Talk to them about managed services. Might not be something you want to do right now, but down the road, you might consider it. At least know that that's an option that's out there. So in closing, and I've taken us about 40 minutes in, and then I'll kick it back to Ali to close it out. If there are any questions at all, go ahead and shoot them to me now, and I'll be happy to answer them. But otherwise, the next step would be to contact your TM Group representative and see how you can get involved in this. I mean, I'm biased, of course, because I work for Solver, but I think it is a really, really good tool at an affordable price that can get people, you know, into the next step and into the cloud that may not have thought they could ever do that.